Well, the mighty has fallen. Again. The Ford Mustang. I'm a big Mustang guy. I've had many of them. Has lost sales again. 2 quarters in a row. To not the Camaro, but the Challenger. And wow, yeah, Dodge has seriously came and challenged America's favorite sports car, the beloved Mustang. Can you believe that? Let's go ahead and talk more about what's going on. So it's hard to believe that 2 quarters in a row, the Dodge Challenger has outsold the Ford Mustang. This is interesting because the Ford Mustang has, much like the F-150, has almost been completely unrivaled in sales from the beginning of time. The beginning of its time. And it's crazy to see just in recent time that the Dodge Challenger has picked up so much popularity that in 2 quarters of the year, it has outsold the Mustang. So even if the Mustang can outsell the Challenger the next 2 quarters of this year, it'll still be a 50-50 split. And I don't even know if you can officially say that, the Mustang is America's best-selling sports car at that point. It sounds like a tie to me. And if the Challenger wins another month, then it takes away that title from the Mustang altogether, which it's pretty crazy. But I'm going to go over this article here from Motor something. It's a pretty cool name, not going to lie. But it's an article going about what has happened here in the sales of the Mustang and Challenger. Obviously, big headline, Ford Mustang continues in second place. Goes on saying how the Challenger has really picked up pace in a few years. But what we really want to know are the numbers. How bad is it? So for the second quarter of this year, the Challenger racked up 14,558 unit sales. That was good enough for top spot. Still a 3.28 decrease in sales versus last year, which was a total of 15,052 units in quarter 2 of last year. Now, the Mustang for quarter 2 of 2022 only sold 12,258 units. That's really bad. And according to the article, that's 16%. I mean, the Dodge was only in single digits, down from last year, but that's 16% due to last year. For Dodge to outsell the Mustang with the Challenger by almost 3,000 units is pretty significant, I would say. That's 3,000 more Challengers on the road that you will see. Not to mention, both cars, the Ford Mustang and Challenger, have huge sales through fleet orders, like big rental companies and whatnot. So I'm not entirely sure if these numbers here are factoring in fleet sales. Sometimes sales, when they report it, does not factor that in. Regardless, that's still a lot of units less. I mean, you do the math. What's the average cost of each car? Let's say the average cost is $50,000, right? Obviously, that's the cost to us. But just throw some numbers around. $50,000 times 3,000 units, that's $150 million difference, potentially. That's a lot. That is a lot. It's hard to say exactly what caused the massive difference. Now, it was 16.48% down from last year. So let's do some math real quick. So we have a total of 12,258 units. We're going to multiply by 16. I'm just going to do 16%, round down. So it's 1,961 car difference compared to last year, roughly, right? That difference Even if you added that difference, so 1,961 to the current sales this year, that gives you 14,219. So that would have been what they sold last year, 16% less than what Dodge sold this year. That's crazy to think. I think what you're looking at here is not so much the availability of cars, because I mean, I think out of a lot of vehicles, cars like the Mustang were more available. You know, people weren't really looking to spend money on a sports car. You know, they're probably looking at something more economical, hybrids. You know, people are going left and right, ordering EVs and stuff. I don't want to say that it has a lot to do with availability. It does seem that Dodge did do a lot better, though, than most companies of keeping availability of vehicles throughout the whole shortage of things here. And that very well could have a lot to play in this. But I honestly think what's really happening more than anything, it's just the Challenger is selling better. It's becoming the new bargain sports car in a way. I know it's not a sports car, it's a muscle car. It's whatever. I'm going to call it a sports car. You can get a Challenger, Scat Pack. You know, has leather, has all the nice stuff. I mean, you can pick them up for almost as much as a base GT Mustang or a Mustang with like a few options. The Mustang is still going to be a better car in terms of performance, but I think the whole pack, like I think, you know, when buyers are looking for something, I think they're looking at a whole package. You know, obviously horsepower sells. We know this. So even though the Mustang might be faster, with less horsepower, who's got more horsepower? Dodge. What sells? Horsepower. They've been selling stuff left and right. And it's really, I mean, they've really just implemented themselves so deeply into, you know, the enthusiast market of the car industry. You know, they have all these crazy things coming out where now you got this thing coming up where, you know, they have YouTubers building cars by swapping in a Hellcat motor. You know, it's just like they are becoming the new American car enthusiast company, you know, as a whole, right? You know, they have so many crazy vehicles. I think that's made a huge impact on the market in terms of potential sales. You know, people gravitating to Dodge as a brand as a whole. And you see a lot of young people, instead of buying a Camaro or buying a Mustang, you see them now in Challengers, in Chargers. They're getting 392s. You know, they're getting 6.4 liter, almost 500 horsepower Hemi muscle car. And really, honestly, the Challenger is the most muscle car of all three cars. It's really the only car like it, and it's a super fun car to drive. I've never driven a Hellcat, but I have driven a regular RT Challenger, and I have driven a Scat Pack Challenger, and they're both very fun. They're just big, comfortable cars. I see why they're selling well. Now, I think Ford will reclaim some of this thunder once the new Mustang rolls out. I'm being really optimistic that it's going to be something special. It's going to rekindle this flame for enthusiasts to start buying the Mustang over the Challenger. But as far as now, the Challenger has outsold the Ford Mustang 2 quarters in a row. And even if you look back to recent years, the Challenger has come so close to taking the title each year from the Mustang. It's not the first time this has happened. So this has been happening progressively over the last few years. It just, you know, Dodge is doing something right, I guess. They're building a community around a brand, and it's really bringing people in. Dodge is just a really ballsy company, and it seems like it's paying off for them. So good for them. Way to go, Dodge. Thought it'd be cool to kind of touch on this, but it's going to wrap it up here for this video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Share with everyone you know. If you want to see more content like this and you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Keep a lookout for our next true car enthusiast video.